This book, Literary Criticism and Theory Unlocked, is compiled from entire topics related to literary criticism and theory. When we decided to write the book, the most basic problem we faced was arranging the criticism and theory. We began with classical criticism, where we tried to compile some ancient Greek philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Longinus, and Horace. We also included ancient Indian critical theories like Rasa and Dhwani. The second section begins with Renaissance criticism, starting with Lodovico Castelvetro's translation of Aristotle to John Milton's Areopagitica. We have added the most important topics discussed in poetry and theatre. As we know, English literary criticism starts majorly with Philip Sidney and Stephen Gosson. Gosson started the debate on poetry, and Sir Sidney gave an amazing reply with his apology for poetry. We have included the debate further in this period. Milton, who was well known for his poetry, also wrote a significant treatise on the Licensing Act for books in his Areopagitica. The third section is Neoclassical criticism, where some major writers and poets expressed their views on various subjects. We have included Hobbes' Leviathan, where he expounds an influential formulation of social contract theory. This section includes all literary achievements of Dryden, Locke, Pope, Swift, and Samuel Johnson. This age, for certain, saw a drastic change in literary criticism. Section 6 includes the Romantic Manifesto of Wordsworth and Coleridge's Biographia Literaria. The Romantic theory began way back in Germany with Schlegel and Schelling, where we find glimpses of Romantic philosophical thought. We also have philosophical ideas of William Blake, Keats, Thomas Love Peacock, and Shelley in this area. In Victorian criticism, some drastic shifts occurred in criticism and literature, where we saw the use of realism and naturalism. Authors started using different kinds of styles to explore literature. For example, the use of symbolism and magic realism. We must look at important critics and writers like Hegel, Pater, Oscar Wilde, Carlyle, Stuart Mill, and Emerson. Matthew Arnold was a major critic and poet at the time. When it comes to critical theory, there are four major sections: Marxism, postmodernism, cultural studies, and psychoanalytic theory. We have added major philosophers, critics, and theorists who explored various thoughts and perspectives on the theory of Marxism. Cultural studies began with Richard Hogarth's Birmingham School of Cultural Studies, which encompasses cultural theorists like Stuart Hall, Pierre Bourdieu-Macrobius, and Paul Gilroy. Cultural studies have major related theories like globalization, localization, and homogenization to be discussed, which is added in a separate section called mass media theory. Postcolonial theory is another important section, which includes theorists like Frantz Fanon, Edward Said, Homi Bhabha, and Gayatri Spivak. Subaltern studies and Dalit or tribal studies are also equally important topics under postcolonial theory. Postmodernism is a vast area, primarily a reaction against modernism, leading to later criticism and theoretical stances like formalism, structuralism, and post-structuralism. Hence, we have divided them into 7 sections. We begin the section with Russian formalism and its associated schools like Prague School and Moscow Linguistic Circle. In structuralism and post-structuralism, we have discussed major critics and theorists like Ferdinand de Saussure, Roland Barthes, Mikhail Bakhtin, Jacques Derrida, and Michel Foucault. In new criticism, all major and minor critics start with J.C. Ransom and I.A. Richards. Stephen Greenblatt has been included in new historicism. Reader response criticism is another area where we discuss many major ideas and doctrines. The section consists of American pragmatism with major critics like Wolfgang Iser, Stanley Fish, and many others. The last 2 sections comprise psychoanalytic criticism and gender studies. Sigmund Freud kickstarted this subject and introduced plenty of concepts based on human behaviors. We have extensively discussed the ego and superego and their counterpart theories from other thinkers like Carl Jung and Jake Lacan. We conclude this book with the section Gender Studies, featuring the first wave to fourth wave feminism and associated thinkers. This segment also has psychoanalytic feminists and queer theory added to it. This book finally has become a reality after a lot of hard work and thorough research on criticism and theory. It is extremely useful in the context of NET Set GATE and many other national level exams. When it comes to preparing for these exams, it is difficult to find a single book which covers the topics extensively. Our book is also appropriate for all kinds of users, as the language used is simple and easy to comprehend and thereby remember.